Matan va fescar ma agus ciad mille fulcha. Fulcha gu learning Scottish Gaelic le Joseph. With Joseph. Le Joseph. Hami an alaba. Heather is Kevin. Ha iad an America. Ha iad ionnsachadh Gaelic. Ha iad ionnsachadh Gaelic. They are learning Gaelic. Vami ac obair ac an Taigh. Ha Taigh acum. I've been working at home. I have a new home. Well, good morning, good afternoon, and 100,000 welcomes to you to the podcast Learn Gaelic. My name is Joseph. Heather and Kevin are in America and they are learning Gaelic. Ha iad ionnsachadh Gaelic. Whenever we say we're doing anything in Gaelic, we always use the continuous a working, a doing, a playing, and we put a in the front as we mentioned before. So hami ag obair, I'm working. Ag an Taigh, at home. I'm working at home. Now, there's a few new words there for you. Taigh is something I mentioned earlier, and that means new home. New. Ha iad ag ionnsachadh. And again, it's with the a, and it means they are learning. Now, there's a little difference in the writing between, for example, dhol, or which is going, or ag obair, or ag ionnsachadh, because one is with a and one is with a g. Don't worry about that just yet. We'll deal with that when we have to, because today we're going to talk about Lenition. Now, just before we do that, let's just have a little recap of what we've done so far. Ha fuair, ha fluch, ha fuair, ha fluch, ha sin fuair, ha iad fuair, ha sib fuair, ha fuair. And that's the verb to be. We've already spoken about how to make short sentences. Ha la fuair an. The day it's cold in itself. Ha la fuair an. Ha fuair. And we've already said that we put an at the end to create in itself. So, for example, the day is cold in itself. Ha la fuair an. And we've also done the negative, which is chanail. Chaniel. Okay, so you could say chaniel la the fuair. The day isn't cold. The day isn't cold. We've already said that if you have something, it's at you. So, for example, ha Taigh acum. The new house is at me. I have a new home. Or if you want to say I'm in my house, you can simply say hami ag an Taigh acum. I'm in my house. I'm in my house. These are just short and quick sentences in Gaelic. So let me just repeat again what I said at the beginning. Matan va agus Fescar ma. Céad mille filcha. Q learn Gaelic le Joseph. Is Misha Joseph. Hamian and Alaba. Heather is Kevin. Haid ionnsachadh Gaelic. Haid an America. An America. Now you'll notice that in the beginning I said Fescar ma agus matin va. Good morning and good afternoon. So Heather and Kevin, I didn't use agus, I used is. Heather is Kevin. And that's because when things go together, and you can decide what goes together, like salt and pepper, cat and dog, husband and wife, when two things which seem to be related to each other are together, you can say is, like brother and sister, for example, mother and father. Okay, Kevin is Heather. Kevin is Heather. You can use agus. Sometimes people don't know what to use because they don't really know how to use it, but poetically it sounds nicer. Heather is Kevin. Kevin is Heather. Kevin agus Heather. Now today we need to talk about lenition. Now we already know, at least we kind of know what lenition is, and that is when some words force an extra letter on another word, which changes its sound. Now, this is just a basic introduction to lenition, okay? It's not the full text because lenition is quite complex, but we're just going to start with this to get you, or to give you an understanding, okay? So lenition is a process whereby certain consonants appear at the beginning of words. They're made softer. This happens by adding an H after the first consonant in a word. Okay. Now there's a different system for vowels which we'll do separately, but basically an H is inserted. So ha e fuer, ha e gle ur. And you can see that the H is inserted there, so the spelling is no longer F-U-A-R, it's F-H-U-A-R. And we discussed this last time. It's the same with Mari. Hello is Misha Mari. Hello Vari. And lenition happens when certain words appear before other words. Glay causes lenition. Causes lenition, and there's many other rules about it. Okay, so it actually only happens with 9 consonants. It doesn't happen with all of them. Okay, so I suppose that's a really good place to start to explain which ones it happens with. Well, it happens with B, C, D, F, G, M, P, S, and T. B, C, D, F, G, M, P, S, and T. Okay, the rest, it really doesn't matter. And I don't recommend you try learning this because it'll get very complex and you'll be crazy in a few minutes. So I would say just watch out when you're speaking or reading just to see where they turn up. All right. The second thing you need to know is they tend to be more related to masculine words than feminine. Okay, and I'll talk about that in a minute. So, for example, we know already that FH is silent, so fuer becomes gleur. Okay. P, when it takes the H, becomes f. It becomes an F sound. D, when it takes the H, takes a kind of somewhere between a D and a G. So, for example, dunya, husband, becomes chunya, chunya. Okay, and it basically goes on and on. So, I don't want to cover all the sounds right now. I just want to introduce you to the concept of the thing. Okay. Each sound is different. Okay, so of course the FH becomes silent. The TH, it just takes the H. Okay, so for example, it's just an example. Okay, you don't need to remember this. Tower house would be tour high, because tour, tower, lenite Taigh, which is house or home. Okay, so it's not tour Taigh. It takes the H and it becomes tour Taigh. Okay, there's other examples as well, which maybe I can tell you. If you want an extension built to your house or an annex, it's called high. Okay, so it looks like ath thigh, but it's Taigh. So the TH is silent in the first part of the word and also in the second. Alright, so that gives you just a little idea of how much the sounds can change with Lenition. And it gets very complex. So gleva, gleur, the B sound, when it takes the H, becomes V, the same as the MH. So we had Svari earlier was the example. Vata is a good one, which is basically a small boat. Vata. You've got to be careful with that, though. It has other meanings as well. But Vata would be a boat, and you can hear it has the V sound as well. Okay, so Bata, Vata. And just before we finish on that, a note about gender. So if I say, for example, cat, Akum, I have a cat, you can use that other way of using possessives if it's something which is very close to you, like a family member. So you could say Mo, and the way you say her cat or his cat is and that is pronounced very short, and it's silent before vowels and the lenition of FH. So again, don't try to remember this because it'll drive you absolutely crazy. Just accept it, and as we come across it, we'll practice it, because I think we'll be talking a lot about lenition in the future. But what I want to tell you right now is that, for example, cat, okay, means her cat, but it lenites in the masculine. It becomes a chat in the masculine. I suppose there's a couple of reasons for this. It'll lenite in the masculine as a way of letting you know it's masculine, because if is the same for her and his, it's one way of letting you know if it's masculine or feminine. But the other reason why it lenites is to make it softer, like the rest of the lenition rules. And lenition is like that. It tends a little bit to gear towards the masculine. And we'll talk more about that when we get more into lenition. But anyway, this has been an introduction about lenition, and I hope that you've enjoyed it. That's all really I wanted to say today. So, Hamia dhol, ak and Taigh. Shiri and Rasta.